No threat. We've got snow in the Denver metro area forecast as we move through Friday afternoon, and then some of the coldest air of the season will be heading our way for the upcoming holiday weekend. And so as we go back now to some of the wind gusts that we're seeing in the area, we're seeing the increase in winds out of the west across areas like Castle Rock and Monument Hill and down toward the Wilkerson Pass area, and also in and around that Boulder area, with the Lafayette and Superior winds going anywhere from about 50 to 75 miles per hour. There's a little bit of a southwesterly influence over the north metro, but Erie proper, we're seeing winds coming in straight out of the west, and we're seeing more of a southwest influence north up around Red Feather Lakes and Estes Park, as well as the Walden area. Visibility is reduced in many of these areas down to a quarter mile or less, and again, they're saying if you see flames, evacuate. Fire managers are on the ground. They're working this, but right now they're battling, Tom, these extremely gusty winds. And again, sunset not for another couple hours here. So we're going to be dealing with this wind for a little bit longer, but once the sun sets, we'll start to see some improvement.
Multiple CO alarms in the area, 7481 Spring Drive,
Tom, we're really watching that wind
Spring Drive,
and just not a lot of moisture coming in for the front range over the short duration. By about this time tomorrow, a whole different story, but the fire manager needs to get these two fires under control here in the next couple of hours.
That, of course, been showing us the biggest number is right there sitting on top of the word
410 on County Law
miles an hour, and that's the last thing we need right now, because this has been going on for more than 3 hours.
Got two things for you. First, I've been unable to raise 446 on the radio, page, or cell phone reference Gorham.
Where they're going and how best to get these things knocked down. But
I'll also need somebody over to 1753 Regal Court, Unit A, Adam. Elderly female there, unable to evacuate due to poor eyesight.
Miles per hour earlier today, and apparently they had to go on generator up there, and thank goodness they did, because a lot of important information is coming as well on the wind and on the storm. But it's tinder dry. We have an unprecedented drought playing out across much of Colorado, and while winter has made a comeback to the Colorado High Country, we're seeing amazing snow up there.
Last unit on County Law. It's going to be Lincoln 18. I copied the page, and I'm en route. Lincoln 18, thank you. I'll show you responding over to 422 Fairfield Lane. Elderly female there, unable to evacuate.
Edward 7, when it's clear, I got information on other possibly trapped parties.
Edward 7.
I have a male here at my barricade saying there's a 72-year-old female and a 40-year-old female at 232 South Buchanan Avenue, and says that he had just talked to them. They're still in the residence.
Confirming 232 South Buchanan.
Abram Avenue.
1507.
Edward 6, I'll see if I can make my way over there.
Marshall Command. Edward 6, thank you, at 1507.
Marshall Command, go ahead.
At 896 Larkspur Court. 896 Larkspur Court. RPA is advising there is a fire on his fence and in the grass, and he is trying to fight it himself.
Command, understand. Thank you. If you're in contact with him, tell him to evacuate if he can.
He has been told, and it is unknown if he will do so.
I assumed you did so, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
1507.
446, if dispatch can advise St. Anthony's that we've got a bus full of ICU patients headed their way. At 96 and Dillon, they're coming via non-emergent transport service that was evacuating them.
2723.
You can try to give them an update. 446 available for traffic.
Show us in service and available as manpower only. No ambulance transport available. Just manpower only for 2723.
363 Gorham. We had a mentally unstable patient there that was fusing to get into a vehicle and leave.
The RP needed some assistance. They should have been in a Subaru Crosstrek.
2722.
At this point, we got about a 15 to 20 minute delay.
2722.
You can show us in service, returning to district.
Copy. I can try and head that way.
1508.
436, I'll go cover.
1509.
$2722.
You can show 2722 in service, returning to district.
2722. I'm sending you to 255 Regal Street. 255 Regal Street. Apartment 14 for a disabled female unable to evacuate.
There's a county, I think, reserve unit that's going to take over at South Boulder Road, and they're going to block. I'm giving up my position, right?
Good.
2722, copy. Be advised, significant delay response to traffic.
South 80th Street to help out CSP with some of that.
1509.
Copy.
Edward 7, I'm available for assignment if you got it anywhere.
Why don't you roam, and if I need you, I'll pull you on something, but we're pretty overwhelmed right now. I'm not even sure where to start.
I understand. I'm available whenever.
Last unit.
1510.
2201. Marshal Command, there, FTAC 14. That's affirmative. Copy that.
4070, flip circle. Do you have an address for any parties needing evacuation?
Last unit.
2341, wondering if you have a tech channel for our incident, or are we being assigned to the main incident?
Yeah, I'm in that area.
1510.
There are no TAC channels available.
Are we assigned to Marshal Command, or is this a separate incident?
Separate incident, but you can assume you're under Marshal Command.
Copy.
1511.
Marshal Command, who is that trying to find an assignment?
It's actually someone en route to an assignment.
I did get a chance to talk to an evacuee a few minutes ago.
Okay, very good.
We are at the South Boulder Center, where some of those Superior evacuees are just starting to roll in, and joining me now is one of them, Carol Levine, just evacuated from Superior. Got here just about 10 minutes ago. Carol, what is it that you saw when you were in town earlier today?
We're at 305 Marshall
just a lot
at
of cars,
the Whole Foods.
A lot of smoke. I didn't see
Okay, I'm going to assign you to
just a lot of
old
traffic and
original town division. He is on
going through your head and your heart
copy
right
that.
now.
It's
My phone is blowing up because everybody wants to know where we are and if we're safe. We are. I think just in my head, just making sure my friends and my family and, well, I don't really have family, but my friends
Hey,
who are my
it
family
might take me a minute, but
are
I'll see
safe
what I can get for you.
and are getting out. But again, everybody is super good lucked and locked in
Marshal Command,
to,
fire in the front yard of
so much traffic.
792 Nighthawk
It's just
Circle.
all trying to get out.
792 Nighthawk
And all
Circle.
everyone going to different places. I'm
1512.
shocked that there's not more people here.
Were you able to get a lot of items out? What is it that you took with you?
My dogs, my kids,
You broke up.
a bag, and
County Fire, can you
that's
try
it.
again?
I don't need anything except for my family.
There is a fire in the front yard
Did you
of
see smoke,
792
flames, anything when you were
Nighthawk
headed out of
Circle.
town?
792
Yeah, totally. And it was behind us, so driving, just look behind us. We packed a car of sleeping bags and, water and the dogs and food. And I guess dog food was important because ultimately, I guess we'll be fine and we'll find a place to be and a place to go. But it's just not fun.
You were just on the phone with a few of your friends that are still in town. What are they saying? What are they seeing?
Horse trailers in the area.
I think the wind is just really adding a major factor to this not being a fun situation because it's so bad. So I think it's nerve-wracking. The wind is definitely adding a horrible edge to this already nightmare. However, they're not moving very quickly. And then so we did see, tremendous amount of smoke and little bit of flames and sort of freaked me out, I guess for the first time, wondering why we were heading this direction. But this is the place that they told us to come, so that's where we're here, and hopefully we'll be fine, and that's all that matters.
Have you ever had to evacuate before?
Not from here, not in Colorado.
Multiple in the 800 block of Mulberry.
Any final message you want to send out there to those maybe watching this online that are gridlocked right now?
Oh gosh, just come to South Boulder. They have water. I think actually the electricity and the is not working here, but I think we'll be fine. I think just as far as you get away, the better.
Marshall
That is correct. There is no power.
Structure fire at 7580 Skyway Court. 7580 Skyway Court. 1514.
Twenty-six, 22.
2622.
Yes, sir. Do you have any law units available in this area?
407.
This is just a party that they're not able to just need a assist out of this area.
We have a unit run through just to make sure that it's not the apartments.
407, what was the location there?
Anywhere.
Have them check Grandview Flatirons Apartments, 600 Dillon.
Is there anybody available to check 800 Dillon at the Grandview Apartments to make sure they're not on fire?
412 route.
412 at 1515.
Bush Commander, information on a fire alarm at 7580 Skyway Court. Homeowner was possibly evacuated and advised that their house was on fire, aired at 1515.
Edward 6.
Edward 6.
If command has police officers that are looking for something to do, if they could go where there's fire in the area, we're still finding people that have no clue and their house is probably next to go up.
Edward 6, I copy. Is it going to be specifically in the Buchanan area or just everywhere in Louisville?
I'd say if somebody could coordinate with a map and start sending people and just start evacuating those areas where there's actual fire in the area, it would make a big difference.
Okay. I don't, on my screen, have any unused Louisville units, but if there are...
Hearing on Law 3 that they've got some evacuated. Is there any way to attach that to the call so you can see that?
Marshall Command.
Last unit there is referencing Law 3. I stepped on you.
Go ahead.
Just east of 7100 South Boulder Road.
401.
RP says the houses there are starting to catch fire.
About evacuation should be going through 403.
Can you give me a cross street on that?
Copy. Is that then being relayed on a Louisville channel or on County Law?
Between 68th and 76th
I think it was on
South Boulder Road.
Okay. I know there have been some units on Law 3 from when the fire went through Superior, and they've been working on those calls. I'm not directly in contact with Commander in a different room. See what I can figure out.
General fire alarm at 2906 North 75th Street. 2906 North 75th Street. 1518.
407.
407.
Information the house is 770 Club Circle is fully involved. It's spread to 768.
1518.
38 information.
438.
Appear to be houses on St. Andrews.
Units residential fire alarm at 546 Don Court. 546
Okay,
Don
as
Court.
you guys give me this info, I'm putting
Covers
it
the
in the
barroom
fire call.
inside.
I'm doing the best to keep it up
Alarm
with our
company
fire
trying to get people
resources.
to evacuate. 1518.
410.
410.
For operations in Louisville, we don't need to be advised of more fires. We get it. We need to be focused on moving people and
5621, clear BCH, returning to net.
Copy. Priority is life and assisting people out of the homes right now. Spot fires
1519.
are secondary for reporting. It's 1519.
Communications 2320, 2341, we're on scene.
1519.
410.
410.
Unified Command, is it at the mall? Is that right?
It should be at the mall. The MCP was at least en route, if not arrival.
Okay, about 8 Larimer County cars just passed me. I don't know where they're going.
Okay.
I was told by a Boulder City police officer that they were meeting command at Monarch High School.
I have not been advised of any command at Monarch. It's been at the mall pretty much since the beginning.
Okay, I'm just letting you know what I was told. We can see flames visible in that area, but just people might be heading that way for command for Boulder City.
Copy.
401.
2722, we have the YMCA of Lafayette, the South
Post for
Boulder Rec
Louisville
Center,
Police and Fire
and
is
the
King
Longmont
Superstore
Senior
at
Center,
95th and South
the
Boulder
Boulder
Road.
County Fairgrounds for any large animals.
Hey, from the evac from Louisville PD is at King Supers. Unified Command should be over at the mall at Flatiron, and it sounds like there may be other people responding out to Monarch High School.
Okay, do you know who's in that Unified Command?
I'm not 100% sure, but Law 3 is where they should be primarily talking.
2602, respond to 340 County Road. 340 County Road. For an evacuation, we have one male party there that's bedridden. I'm 5621.
5621, go ahead.
Are you still in the area where you could respond to 340 County Road in Louisville to help evacuate a bedridden male?
We are in Boulder Canyon.
Copy 1522. Marshall Command, structure fire at 600 Charles Street, 600 Charles Street, 1522.
600 Charles Street, that's in Old Town Superior.
Affirmative.
Okay, and I've lost my MDT, so just keep airing them, please.
Do you want me to leave them on the board or take them off?
You can leave them up if you can, and if I get connected again, that'll be helpful, but I can't see anything right now.
410. 410.
Copy that, 1523. Break 2602.
Will you confirm if, and in fact, Unified Command is set up at the mall?
2602, can you respond to 340 County Road? 340 County Road for a elderly male that is bedridden.
I'll have some updates for you shortly.
Okay.
Now this is time. Show me at 88th and Dillon on a grass fire.
Lincoln 18, you can include that assist. That elderly woman's going to be going with the county deputy to evac.
1800, 5621.
Lincoln 18, thank you.
5621.
Our second ambulance is in service. Where do you need it, sir?
583.
340 County Road. 340 County Road. I have an elderly male there that is bedridden and cannot evacuate.
Copy. Animal control to copy. Any animal control to copy. The horse is released at 7395 Empire.
340, which County Road, sir?
It's just 340 County Road in Louisville. 340 County Road in Louisville.
Copy that. Emergent or not?
Your discretion, and it's going to be just to the west of Pine Street and Courtesy. Pine Street and Courtesy will be your closest major intersection.
1525.
Show us responding to the call at 340 County Road, 340 County Road for the assist.
1525. I'm going to show you en route still. 5621 showing you en route still, along with 2723. He does not have an ambulance at this time.
Copy that.
Marshal Command. Marshal Command. Structure fire at 954 St. Andrews Lane. Repeating, structure fire at 954 St. Andrews Lane, 1526.
Lincoln 40, can people get over to Community Park in Louisville?
410 County Law. Are people able to get to Community Park?
410 firm, they can get there, but that's still in the path, and there's nothing there for them.
Lincoln 40.
Lincoln 40 is, they've been evacuated out of there, I take it, and if so, where'd they go?
We've only been telling people east out of the city or north if they're closer to north. There's not a rendezvous point. $15.27.
Alarm, fire alarm at 1017 Turnberry Circle. 1017 Turnberry Circle, 1528.
2341.
2341.
We just assisted mainly with evacuation at 896 Larkspur. There's multiple structure fires in the area, so we're just going to tie in with the main incident command.
So you're at the 896 Larkspur Court area?
415.
415.
Fire is pushing east and just about to cross over Dillon. Can we shut down eastbound Dillon as well?
From where? Does it need to be all of Dillon from McCaslin?
At least from Coal Creek Circle.
Commercial fire alarm at Premier Members Federal Credit Union at 800 Coal Creek Circle. 840 Coal Creek Circle. General fire alarm.
Send them back to the south and send them back to the south. There's almost no traffic on Dillon, either west or eastbound now, so it should be fairly open.
415, did you copy that?
415, I copy. I'm eastbound Dillon at Coal Creek.
What is the alternate for them? They can't go south on McCaslin. They can't go north on McCaslin. Is eastbound 36 the only option?
Marshall Command.
Marshall Command.
410.
Structure fire at 363
412
Court. 363 Troon Court.
They are going to work on the interior, moving traffic out of Pine Street,
1531
Street to the east.
Copy. From the interior, east is still our primary way out, but we have a request to shut down eastbound Dillon there. I'm assuming the little stretch between Dillon and Cherry is open for northbound McCaslin, so they can then continue eastbound Cherry.
Yeah, A-firm, it's that section that's going to be almost impassable, but it's still open. Dillon Road is fairly traffic-free.
A-firm, traffic-free, but 415 says that the fire's about to cross it over there by Coal Creek.
Well, it's crossed it 5 times already, so.
Copy.
Command 571.
571.
We have a plan for all this traffic that's stuck. I got it all the way up to 88th, and the fire's closing in from 2 directions.
At your location, I think south and east, so South Rock Creek to East Colton is your best bet. I'm assuming that the roundabout and everything up there is just slowing down.
Copy, thank you.
You're welcome. 1533.
Smoke alarm at 977 Arapahoe Circle. 977 Arapahoe Circle. 1533.
County Fire 5631.
5631.
658 on wall.
Lifting staging, we're going to be in the Old Town Division.
Louisville units will also move out like we
That's in our, gives you a good idea. He talked about that wind moving the fire, and it gives you a good idea of where that is, not to mention some of the golf properties. The Coal Creek Golf Course is by that red dot on the lower right part inside the box.
And look at all those large businesses in between there. I mean, you know, people were shopping and doing other things today.
Yeah, you have Flatirons right there, and of course
that kind of a facility.
McCaslin Boulevard. But inside of that box, we're talking about more than 30,000 people who live there, many who work there, and it gives you a good idea of just how complicated people trying to leave suddenly has become, as many people get stuck in traffic.
And we want to get out to Nelson Garcia, who is with the fire marshal for Mountain View, trying to give us a little bit more information about what the plan is, how they got their arms around this massive fire.
That's right, Kim. I'm standing out here with Flatirons Crossing, where they are staging crews from different agencies out here to get ready to fight the fire. I'm standing here with Deputy Fire Marshal John Moore from Mountain View Fire. What can you tell me, what is the latest that's going on right now?
County units, be aware of the stuck mic. Repeating, county units, be aware of the stuck mic. 1535.
Estimated acres are 1,225 acres and 30 to 50 homes involved in one way or another with the fire at this time. We do have resources from all along the Front Range, as well as some of our mountain communities who have arrived and are assisting us, and we do have firefighters engaged actively with both structure and wildland operations.
It sounds like that they're increasing the evacuation and pre-evacuation zones. What can you tell me as far as how this fire is moving right now?
The fire has predominantly moved to the northeast from the southwestern part of Boulder County to the west of Superior and Louisville. We've been very fortunate, and we've had a phenomenal response from area law enforcement from multiple counties to help us get out to those residents along the a little bit more eastern part of Boulder, including Superior and Louisville, also over into Broomfield and Broomfield County.
And what is this area right here? Did you figure this was a good geographical location to have everyone gather?
So as traffic was starting to leave the area, things were starting to get a little more erratic with the wind. This was a nice wide parking lot, a place that we could gather resources as they were coming from the Front Range. Also, they wouldn't have to be driving directly through the fire area where we had active fire flame. And so it gave us a nice place to start getting people a good briefing before they head out to the line.
Now, I imagine that the biggest ingredient right now is the wind. Until that dies down, is this going to continue to cause problems?
Yes, the wind is going to play a factor, and we expect to continue to have issues. The wind is going to play a factor into the evening hours. So with that, we do ask that people take the time. Again, we've said it multiple times, sign up for Everbridge. If you've never prepared for pre-evacuation or evacuation, get those important documents. Make sure you know where your family is. Know that more than one way out of your home. And if you ever feel in danger, you can leave. You don't have to wait to be told to leave.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I appreciate it. Stay safe. As you heard, more than 1,200 acres and approximately 30 to 50 homes involved at this time, as far as they know. We will be here as the crews continue to go in and out of this parking lot here at Flatirons Crossing, and we'll bring you the latest when we have it. Tom, Kim.
All right, Nelson, thanks very much. The sound of that wind whipping through certainly is a fearsome sound. We want to get back over to the Davidson Mesa Trailhead in Louisville. Kyle Clark has been there watching a horrific scene play out. Kyle?
Tom, I think we just watched as wind gusts have kicked up to what feels like about 50 miles per hour or so. Another home catch fire. This is the home that firefighters were just trying to save, putting a lot of water on the home that you see that is just fully stripped down by fire. But now we're seeing fire in the upper level of the next home. So this is the leading edge of the neighborhood. This is the western edge of the neighborhood. And as you move in, even with the thick smoke, I can see it's just home after home after home. And then when you move to the east of here into Louisville, you get into an area where the homes are a bit smaller and they're also even closer together than they are here. To our west and to our north, we've seen first responders coming in apparently to do home checks to make sure that folks are out of the homes that are nearby. But this is what the scene that you have watched play out again and again this afternoon, where firefighters, despite their best efforts, are simply outmatched in these wind conditions and the head start that the fire has. And I'm just afraid that we're going to be looking at a much worse situation here before long, because we've gone from the western side of McCaslin, where the homes are almost like ranchettes and they're a bit spaced out, to now the west side of McCaslin, which is getting into neighborhoods proper.
And Kyle, these homes are tight and condensed. I mean, they're neighborhoods where you walk across the street and you greet your neighbors. That's the most terrifying thing. We saw the number of fire crews that had met at that location where Nelson is. So they're there, but as Kyle's pointing out, it's the wind they can't beat.
Well, it's sad to see what Kyle is talking about there at the Davidson Mesa Trailhead, because it looks like predictability now. The houses that are downwind are just next. Yeah. The embers, the heat, everything is moving.
And Kyle, I know you're saying that you're seeing those houses on one side of the street and now the other. And I thought Nelson said, the fire marshal said they're looking at 30 properties at least that are threatened or might be lost.
Yeah, I think when we talk about 30 properties, it sounded to me like they were talking about properties that that they were already engaged in active operations to protect. I mean, I can easily see a couple of dozen just within my view here, and I was just driving through that neighborhood to the east, and we're talking about hundreds of homes that are just about kind of a mile down and through this gully here. So with any luck, the winds, as Danielle has said, may be relenting here, and it may allow firefighters to make a stand, but the homes are not going to get any less dense as you move your way east into Louisville. And just like that again, we have calm. I mean, 60 seconds ago, the wind was strong enough that it knocked photojournalist Chris Hansen off of his feet while he was shifting the camera. And that to me felt significantly in excess of 50 miles per hour. And at this moment, completely still. And in the distance, you hear the booms of things exploding inside the homes and garages to our south.
There's a fire station not too far from there, and you have to wonder, not the irony of it, but the oddity of it, that there's little they can do in these conditions, even if they were able to attack these fires. And the odds are that fire station had already been summoned maybe somewhere else by then. But even the proximity to a fire station here, really no match for these conditions.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tomorrow, I think, before we get the best idea of what has happened, even if firefighters are able to gain an upper hand here in the next couple of hours. Tom and Kim, you guys both remember the Mountain Shadows fire in Colorado Springs, and the way that fire worked down into the wildland urban interface and had the ability to go home to home. That's the last time that I recall seeing something this destructive on the Front Range.
Just when Chris panned off to the side when you talked about the winds dying down briefly, Kyle, you could see little pockets that were still smoking in areas. When you think of the hot spots that they'll be battling and dealing with for days, arguably.
Yeah, and we've watched, Kim, as well, that Xcel Energy has been in here. It looks like up ahead of us some lines might have been taken down. The winds that came through here were enough to take down a number of trees in the neighborhood to the east. To get here, had to weave around a tree that had come down, smashed into a pickup truck. So there were incredible winds in here, and in fact Xcel Energy was in the area and they raced out probably about 10 minutes ago to go attend to something else, but my guess is they're trying to cut power to make the firefighting safer and to keep additional problems from happening. If there's any good news, and I don't know if you've got a better look at this than I do, Chris, it looks like the flames in that next house along the line may have died down a little bit. It's so difficult to tell with the dense smoke in between, but there's that one house very prominently that Chris has been showing us that is obviously a complete loss. Firefighters were putting a lot of water on that from a ladder truck, trying to keep it from spreading to the next. It did at one point, but from my vantage point, I can no longer see that home burning. one piece of good news, despite the fact that this is obviously one of many fronts that firefighters are very focused on, we have not seen a rapid spread from the west to the east side of McCaslin. It appears that they are trying to make their stand right here before it can get into this neighborhood.
We watch these stories unfold, and sometimes we do it from 30,000 feet. You're a quarter mile from a neighborhood's disaster, a neighborhood tragedy playing out in front of you. And it's unfair to ask, but the concept being, as we've watched this now happen for some 4 hours, are we still at the beginning? Or are we in the middle of this? Or maybe are we at the end? But it's really hard to understand where we are because this is so vast.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, the winds right now and the fact that we don't have moisture coming in overnight suggests that this certainly isn't the end. And I guess the best we could hope for is the middle. There, the smoke's cleared again, and we can see firefighters putting some water on those neighboring homes. As the smoke clears, we can tell that yes, there is another home in that line that's been lost, and firefighters are they're launching water into the wind as the winds blow west to east, trying to get water onto that home. This is a hell of an effort that they're putting up right here as these winds gust easily in excess of 50 miles per hour, and it is really just home to home. Here comes Mountain View Fire coming in. There was an ambulance, I believe, from Louisville that came in just a moment ago. And, you know, Tom and Kim, I mean, homes are homes, and people love where they live, but life can't be replaced, and you just hope that all the folks who live in those homes were the people that I passed as they were headed out of this neighborhood. There were thousands of people headed out of Louisville, both east and west on South Boulder Road, just trying to find some way out of the danger to the south. So you hope that every single one of those homeowners heeded the warning and got out.
And these are the times when we hear these stories of how we take care of each other, where you check on the neighbors around you, and given the nature of this and how quickly it was moving, hopefully everybody got the chance to do that. But I think they felt this wind and the dryness. I mean, goodness, we've been talking about watering your trees just to save a tree. And then this is a whole new perspective.
Well, we're 4 hours in now, and you just think of how sudden we went from a windy day to here we are 4 hours from a major disaster playing out in and around Boulder County. And with that in mind, the governor has declared a state of emergency due to those fires in Boulder County. He says that allows the state to access to disaster emergency funds to support the emergency response efforts in Boulder, as well as the state resources, including the use of the National Guard, Colorado's Division of Fire Prevention, and as well as control and activation of the state's Emergency Operations Center. So any and all help needed will be coming from the state. The question is, will it be enough, and will it be soon enough?
You know, we want to remind people that also the First Bank Center in Broomfield is another evacuation site if you're able to get there. Broomfield is not having any evacuations, so they're able to open that First Bank Center if you need to find a place to go. When we talk about those homes and those lives and this place, how many times have we reported that Louisville was ranked one of the best places to live in America? I know it's been in the top 10 many times, so you think of what a great special place it is and how heartbreaking it is for people to watch this. We do want to talk a little bit more about these evacuation areas. Again, you can go to any of these sites depending on what you need. When we talk about large animals, a lot of people out here have horses and, you know, cows and llamas, everything. That's the Boulder County Fairgrounds, the YMCA Arapahoe Branch, South Boulder Rec Center, and the Longmont Senior Center.
We're flipping that, although we're just getting word the South Boulder Rec Center, they are now switching that. The North Boulder Rec Center will be that, as well as not on the map, what you just talked about, the First Bank Center as also being a place to go. We've been talking about the evacuation orders. Clearly, if you're watching these pictures and you are near an evacuation ordered area, you might want to be very well prepared to order as well. The areas in red need to evacuate. That's the official evacuation area as of about 20 minutes ago. Areas just north of South Boulder Road between Cherryvale and 76th up to Arapahoe Roads, that is pre-evacuation notice. You can see these areas on both sides of Highway 36, the Boulder Turnpike. Flatiron Crossing, the big mall there, is in the evacuation area. You can see how close it is to the eastern edge of Boulder, but we've been talking about that area of US 36 and McCaslin and all those businesses that are there, as well as all the people who live in that area, and still just trying to understand where we stand and the timeline of this. Will we look back at this and say this was just before things started to settle down, or will we say, oh my goodness, it just kept going and going?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, Kathy, that we're going to see an end to these winds. You just think about what the firefighters doing. They've got to be praying for the winds to slow down as well.
Yeah, Kim, we are in the midst of a historic wind event here in Colorado along the Front Range. And as we look just to the northwest of the studios, that smoke plume is clearly evident out there. We've had pockets of wind blowing from 110 to 115 miles per hour this afternoon, taking down power lines in and around the Boulder area, which sparked the 2 fires. That smoke plume is clearly visible from downtown Denver, and travel not advised into that area as fire managers are trying to get a handle on these 2 grass fires. We're monitoring the winds right now, which have blown anywhere from 45 to 75 miles per hour in the last 20 minutes out of the west and southwest. And we're watching as the high wind warning now extended up into southeastern Wyoming will continue until 11 o'clock tonight. Now, the sun sets at 4:44, and within the next hour to 2 hours, we should start to see those winds decrease a bit. They won't become completely calm, but after sunset, we will start to see those winds come down a bit. Right now, we're still in the 25 to 40 mile per hour zone with gusts to 80 in that area shaded in purple to the south and west of Denver, extending up into Wyoming. The peak gusts so far coming in from Rocky Flats at 115 miles per hour. White Ranch open space winds to 100. Lyons winds over 90 miles per hour. Glen Haven and of course Boulder. We've seen sustained gusts in the last hour to 75 miles per hour. Taking you forward with the wind gust forecast, we will see some improvement in the wind as we move through the next couple of hours. The winds will shift more out of the southwest, but do come down into the 35, 45, and 50 mile per hour range between 8 and 9 o'clock. We're waiting the arrival of a front that will arrive early tomorrow morning, offering an increase in humidity, decreasing wind, and some beneficial moisture. But the winds do not become entirely calm along the Front Range. They're in the 25 to 45 mile per hour range from Red Feather Lakes, Estes Park, Allens Park into Netherland, Boulder, Erie, and Lyons, even through the overnight hours. Once the front comes through tomorrow morning, the winds shift out of the north and northeast. That brings the wind speeds down. The wind direction offers us higher humidity values, and we see a big improvement in the wind, along with snow developing in those exact areas where those grass fires are burning right now. The snow will begin up there tomorrow morning around 7 or 8 in the morning, and then continue to progress southward into the Denver metro area throughout the day. So there is some relief coming in the form of cooler air, higher humidity values, and decreasing wind, but not in the short term. In the next 2 hours, as the storm begins to approach Colorado from the west, the winds do continue quite gusty from the surface all the way aloft, and it's going to be another 2 hours before we start to see those winds decouple, come apart a bit, as we start to see some improvement in that wind forecast. These are all advisories for snow across the Intermountain West. Another piece of this story is the really cold air that's coming in, some of the coldest air of the season for the holiday weekend, and we do have wind chill advisories going out for portions of eastern Colorado. Denver is now under a winter weather advisory for 3 to 6 inches of snow for tomorrow. And so while the snow will begin to ramp back up in the high country, we have to wait overnight for the snow in Denver. And what you're seeing on radar there, that is the smoke showing up on the radar around Broomfield and Arvada north of Denver. That is the smoke plume that is extending south of Brighton and south of the Keensburg area. That smoke is so dense, it's being picked up by our radar. And so the winter weather and travel advisories will make for dangerous travel into the high country tonight, you guys. And we are going to see that snow really ramp up overnight in the mountains, and the wind up there will create areas of blowing snow. So Kim, Tom, over the next 2 hours, we'll really start to see some improvement in the wind in the foothills, but it won't become entirely calm until sometime tomorrow with the arrival of that front.
It's a hard truth that it's just going to keep blowing for a while, because it is not what anyone wants to hear right now. We'll look forward to that snow when it does get here. We talked about people needing to move, not just evacuations. UC Health confirming the 9 News. 6 patients have arrived at the UC Health in Broomfield because of injuries from the wildfires. We don't know the extent of their injuries.
It's hard to say what that might have been. I mean, there have been accidents and all kinds of things while people are trying, car accidents and truck accidents and other things, trying to get out and trying to leave in some of these areas. So, but Kyle Clark has been in this area in Louisville where you have seen families' homes go up right now in flames and a lot of smoke, and firefighters doing their best against the wind to get water on these structures.
They're trying their best, Kim, because they know what's at stake, and they know that that the houses only get more dense to the east of here. The wind has shifted slightly, and it gives us a little bit better view of what's going on. And sadly, we can tell that that house that we thought was threatened has now gone up completely. That was the house that firefighters were working to save for about 30 minutes or so. As you look through the viewfinder of our photojournalist Chris Hansen and you see those two homes on the end that have burned, the firefighters are to the left of there. They are to the east of there, and they've been trying to send water back onto the house to the west. The wind, when it kicks up in excess of 50 miles per hour at some points, has turned that stream of water all the way back on them. So it's not clear if they're able to get close enough to put water on the houses right next to the ones that are burning. But you can also see, as you look there to the left of the picture as we go east, that it is home, home, home along the south side of that open space. They kind of ring the open space to the south and the west side. For folks who know this area, we are along McCaslin looking southwest just north of Washington, a ways north of Via Appia. Although I was down in that neighborhood there north of Via Appia, and there were flames in the open space in that area. There was brush burning there. There was a point where I had to turn around and loop my way back up and around. So we know that there's fire in the neighborhood to the south of us, and they're trying to stop it from going to the east of us. The thing that is worrisome here in the last couple of minutes, as the wind has shifted and has calmed significantly at our position, there is a significant backfilling of very dark smoke to the south of us. The color of smoke that indicates that it's buildings and not brush that's burning. As you see, that next home in that's been lost is now putting up probably 4-story flames at this point. The home on the corner, which you could still see the structure of about 30 minutes ago, is now completely down to the ground. And off in the distance, you hear the pops and the bangs of things that the fire is reaching. I wish that I had any cause for optimism other than the fact that the wind is relenting for a moment at this position. You see the flames from that house are standing more straight up as opposed to being driven sideways and parallel along with the ground. I remember hours ago, Tom, I was listening to your coverage on my way up here, and you and Noel Brennan were talking about how the fire was just moving laterally along the ground. When the wind lets up, it stands up, and all of a sudden you realize that there's been more loss than we thought. At this point, there's flames just piling off of that house at this point, and you can see from the color of the smoke that there's new material that's going up. This is just, I mean, it's heartbreaking anywhere that this happens, but the fact that this is happening here means, Tom and Kim, that I think that there are going to be a lot of folks who suffer loss in this, and I, you know, I don't know what to say. You hope that every single person heeded those warnings and got out, because at least for this neighborhood, there was warning. The time between which Louisville was evacuated and the time that the fire crossed McCaslin, there was a good bit of time if people got the message, and we have witnessed from this position law enforcement going door to door to make sure that folks are out.
Kyle, the grave fear, of course, being is that you are seeing flames and you are actually watching houses go up, but behind that wall of smoke, what you don't see might be worse. You know, it's hard to imagine, but it could be the things we're not seeing are even worse than the things we are seeing. And it always, you know, it makes me wonder when you think of how difficult it is to fight what we would call a quote-unquote normal fire. This is anything but that. And firefighters in different areas and at different places are having to do some sort of triage as to where they do choose to try to make a stand and where they do try to fight these fires. That's got to be a difficult choice to make in real time on the ground.
Yep, and it's clear, Tom, that they have chosen this point here on the east side of McCaslin, just on the edge of Louisville, as one of those places where they're going to try to make a stand. We have only seen units go in. We've not seen units go out. Now, that said, they could have gone south of here, which at this point you can see, I would say we've got visibility of probably about 300 yards or so. I'd say it's roughly 3 football fields to those houses that have gone up there. We cannot see beyond them. We can see the first row of houses, and that's it due to the density of the smoke, and we know that the fire was back in the neighborhood behind. For the last 5 minutes, I haven't been able to see firefighters putting any water up high onto those homes in that row. It's possible that they're doing other defensive work there inside the neighborhood, but it was a really fruitless proposition when the wind was kicking up so high, because the water was just turned to mist and thrown back in their faces and thrown up in the air. And anytime the wind gusts, not only is it pushing the smoke, it's also bringing a lot of debris, small rocks and ash and pieces of brush and things like that.
Well, these homes are raging. Some of the close-up shots that Chris Hansen has been providing there with you, especially off to the left, these apparently have already given up most of what they have to fight, and the ones on the left are just raging. And it's as we talk about it, always stands for something more than the house itself. It stands for a lot of people who are suffering today in and around Boulder County. Kyle, we'll get back to you in just a few minutes with more on a very sad situation playing out there right by the Davidson Mesa trailhead in Louisville.
Now you see that little walking path and that. I mean, sure, it's fantastic area. Just
beautiful.
Walk around and take a nice stroll and to see something like this. And Kyle is right. This does remind me so much of the Waldo Canyon fire. But back then it was the heat. It was the summer heat, June, that they were battling, that intense heat we had. This wind is a completely different dynamic.
It's a relentless foe, and it as it changes directions, creates incredible danger and difficulty for firefighters. And then when it stays and it doesn't change direction, it just advances seemingly inexorably through all of the dry fuels that have.
Lincoln 59, if you could head that way, I'll break you if I need to, but at this point you might even just be able to stop traffic going westbound on Empire from 287.
59, copy, I'll be en route.
1601.
Edward 7, we're arrival on that latest address, 166 South Washington. It's locked up and we're not getting any response.
Is fire out there?
Go for 5621.
Negative. And the house looks unoccupied. It's all dark.
5621, we're trying to call the YMCA right now to see if I can get a bed for you.
Edward 32.
Much appreciate, sir. I know you're busy. Thanks.
5 minutes ago.
1601.
Edward 7, it's possible you guys just missed them and they locked up the building. I still show them on scene, though. I'm not sure if they advise they're transporting.
Copy that. We're clear. And you got any others?
Stand by. Let me double check that area, but I don't think so.
There's 3 of us here. We can split up. If you got some a little further away, let us know.
Copy. Stand by.
We are unable to make contact up the Lafayette YMCA.
Edward 7.
Edward 7.
Copy. Thanks,
the only one that might be worth checking is 821 West Mulberry Street. I believe you're going to find that was already.
Is there a Rocky Mountain Rescue crew on
point, but we had a report of it catching, and that we couldn't confirm it was unoccupied. And it was passed on to command at some point. Otherwise, I don't have anything other than intrusion alarms.
Thank you, Ken. Are you calling us?
Affirmative. Are you still on the rescue?
821 West Mulberry Street.
Yeah, we've been trying to stay off fire channel.
West Mulberry, break.
Copy. I just wanted to check on you. Thank you. 1603.
Edward 7, I just got another one off of Vista Lane over there, break.
Go ahead with it.
Actually, this one is a little bit older still, but it's 105 Vista Lane on an 11-year-old that should be home alone.
Copy.
Swam on 2108.
1603.
2108. Yeah, we're responding south into Louisville from Longmont.
4366.
Wondering where staging is or where
436.
you is. Flatirons Mall in front of the Macy's is the staging area.
436.
I'll be giving a courtesy ride to two adults, cooperative adults, to Pine and Tyler. County Fire, 2594.
2594?
658, I'll follow him out just for...
Yeah, just information, timestamp. The Boulder County IMT is assumed command of the Marshall Fire, and we'll still be responding as Marshall Command.
Copy, Marshall Command. I have a house fire at 567 Canary Lane and 363 Troon Court. I think those were the last two that I couldn't reach you guys on.
Go again with that address, please.
567 Canary Lane, 567 Canary Lane, and 363 Troon Court.
Lincoln 24.
Go ahead and show me the service break.
Go ahead.
I'll be down in the South Point area, but available to break.
To the Longmont unit that needed the address for Flatirons Mall, it's 1 Flatirons Crossing Drive. 1 Flatirons Crossing Drive. 2108, copy.
This is I'm Command 1800 Marshall Command.
Marshall Command.
These are two structure house fires, 567 with a Canary Lane, and the other one was Troon Lane, or Court.
Can you remove 597?
Affirmative, those are the last two we've received.
On the fire, please.
Pass information on. Thank you, sir.
1605.
Boulder Fire. Peace.
2222 and 2602, respond to Arapahoe Road and Westview Drive. Arapahoe Road and Westview Drive for a 2-vehicle injury accident. 1606. Unit calling in.
Allenstock Base is going to be Highway 7 Command. The vehicle appears to be unoccupied. We'll handle it on our channel. We'll let you know when we're clear.
Thank you, 1606.
Edward 7 on County Law.
County Fire, 221 arrival.
I apologize. I don't remember which other units are with you. Can you guys go check on an assist off of Long Peak Drive?
1606.
Edward 7, we're still clearing 105 Vista for the 11-year-old. So far, open door, nobody here. Just hold on to that address. We'll grab it when we clear.
1606.
And Edward 43, I'm with 7.
1800, 3121.
3121.
We are being rerouted from Spanish Estates over to
Edward 30,
the west side of Flatiron Mall for staging, and will be reassigned and we're en route.
Reporting that they're unable to evacuate, no vehicle. I'm not sure if the RP is the party that's unable to evacuate.
Edward 32, okay.
1607.
Edward 743, we're clear and available again. This house is empty.
1607.
Respond to 395 Airport Drive. 395 Airport Drive. to help with a transport of a medical patient from the Erie Airport to the Broomfield Airport. 1608.
Cliff.
1608.
Last unit.
Erie units, we're starting medical over to the Tri-County Airport at 395 Airport Drive.
Does
Sounds like Medevac is requesting an ambulance to transport a patient from there. 1608.
That's negative. My mistake. They need a crew to transport their people from the Erie Airport to the Broomfield Airport.
Copy.
Twenty-seven, 23.
Go for 2723.
Do you have a vehicle that you could respond to the 395 airport to transport medevac people?
Yes, we do.
Edward 7 and Edward 43, copy.
Copy. I'm going to show you en route to the Erie Airport to transport medevac people to Broomfield.
1979 Quail Circle, 1979 Quail Circle. Should be a 75-year-old female there that's unable to evacuate, has MS, and is blind.
1609.
Copy, now.
1609. County units, information only. Medicals en route. State Patrol advised to Arapahoe and Westview on a two-vehicle injury accident out of traffic at 1610.
Twenty-seven, 23. What's your location?
544.
I'll be out at Safeway with unsecured door, and doesn't appear to be anybody in the building.
1610.
Lane 40, where are they evacuating residents of
22, 22.
410 on county law.
22, 22.
410, 410 on county law. Do we have a location for parties to evacuate to?
2602 showing you en route to Arapahoe Road and Westview. Arapahoe Road and Westview on the two-car injury accident. Still trying to reach 2222, 1611.
Copy. Lincoln 40 for now. My understanding is people have just been told to leave the city, preferably north or east, depending on their location. We did not establish via the upper bridges a rendezvous point.
All right. I'll tell this lady in
2723, we're being advised you can cancel.
1611.
2723 copies in service Louisville Station 1.
Or I can get through on 3. I'm going to have an evacuee with me, and we're going to be headed to the Broomfield Event Center.
1611.
1611. Twenty-seven, 23.
Go ahead.
Can you respond to 2319 Dogwood Circle, 2319 Dogwood Circle for an 85-year-old female that needs oxygen?
People at Val Asian Fusion off of McCaslin and Dillon in Louisville. If anybody's in that area, could they please try and get them to evacuate?
2723 copies, we're en route.
What was the name of the business again?
Thank you, 1612.
Val, Boy, Adam, Ocean, Asian Fusion.
Copy. 446, we did just get a call about that on 5 people. We've placed it into our trapped person call that command is working on.
Copy, thanks.
You're welcome, and with referencing trapped, they're just too afraid to leave. They're not physically trapped.
Copy.
1613.
Edward 743 arrival.
1613.
Fire units, be careful of your open mics again. 1613.
Edward 7, this party has help. They get evacuated. 43 and I are available again.
1614.
Edward 32.
Edward 32.
Same traffic on Long Street.
4061. 14.
4061.
I've been released. I'm returning to Alliance. Dispatch 2321.
2321.
Sir, are you showing that we're in service?
$1,800, 2223.
2321, I don't show you on.
2321, you can show us in service.
Other unit?
1,800, 2223.
2223.
Edward 32.
Okay, can you attach us to the call on Arapahoe Road and Westview Drive, please?
If they're available, residents of 1609 Sunset Drive are requesting medical. They have a
Copy, and it's 2222 out of service.
male who is having a hard time getting out of the house.
They're out of service.
Won't fit into their vehicles.
Copy, 1616.
Huge cloud of smoke. You're not waiting to be told to leave your house. If it were me, I'd be hopping in my car and getting out of there as quickly as I could. But yeah, everyone else is trying to do the same thing. This area is growing. There are a lot of homes. And you can imagine it takes a lot of time. An hour and a half, we've heard, just to get out of there to where we are, which is just a couple miles away.
All right, Noel, we continue to see that.
I might add. I've got all my photojournalists in the wrong spot.
Mike is up there with Noel. But we see that flat track of that smoke. It is not going up. It is simply staying on the ground and moving hard with that wind. And we also talk about that fading light we continue to see and the changing aspects, the nature of the human nature of watching this play out and fighting this fire, going from broad daylight where this thing started to what is going to soon be a nighttime situation. So there is a lot that is still
Sunset Drive
changing,
for a
and
male
clearly
party
still a
that's
very dangerous
diabetic.
situation. But again, Noel, with a very unique view, watching this play out.
The wind turbines are not too far from there because it's a windy area, and we often think of Highway 93 and Highway 72 and all those areas, and Boulder sometimes when we have wind events, and
I'm sorry, your radio is breaking
now we're seeing Louisville and all these neighborhoods, and that's why we have a lot of evacuation centers, because there's so many people that we're talking about that have to leave their homes at this point. A reminder, the First Bank Center in Bloomfield is now open for those that need to evacuate. The North Boulder Rec Center on Broadway. This is a change from earlier. It was the South Boulder Rec Center. It's now closed due to a power outage. Many people don't have power at this point, and Excel is actually shutting off power as part of the firefighter efforts. YMCA, Putney Way, and Lafayette is open. The Longmont Senior Center on Long Street Avenue in Longmont is open, and there's also a shelter for large animals open in the Boulder County Fairgrounds as well, because many folks do have animals that require a different place than just
410, were you able to copy that Sunnyside call?
2722 and 2204, you're both en route to 1609 Sunset Drive.
Negative,
1609 Sunset Drive.
Limited
a male diabetic party there.
Sunnyside Street.
Too large to fit into a vehicle, and we'll need an
her
ambulance.
husband is refusing
1619.
and preventing her from evacuating. We have a couple of Erie units going, but I don't know if it ends up being a domestic
2602
unit out there.
2602.
Okay. 2013 cancel for Arapahoe Road and Westview. It's a non-injury accident.
I have 436 in service.
Okay.
436, can you start towards 683 Sunnyside?
Cop en route.
1619.
412 information on that last call.
Yeah, 2223, copy direct.
Seems to be advised.
2223, copy 1620.
People live in that house are elderly with dementia.
County 55621.
Copy Edward 43.
41, non-emergent, YMCA.
And 436, copy.
1620. Break. Marshal Command.
Copy and updated.
1620.
Edward 6.
Edward 6.
I'm assisting removing a bunch of patients from Flatirons Health and Rehab. I'll be
Marshal
tied up for a
Command.
few.
1620.
Downs Park Fire.
581 in service.
Allen's Park Fire.
1621.
Highway 7 incident is cleared. All Downs Park units back in service quarters.
1621.
Lincoln 64 in service, Brett.
Lincoln 64. Good morning, guard.
Show me en route to Dillon Road and South 96th Street.
1622.
2722 arrival.
Edward 6.
1622.
I have a caravan of cars behind me. I'm trying to get them up to South
1622.
Boulder on McCaslin and South Boulder. Can any unit advise if I can take McCaslin north up to South Boulder, please?
It was impassable about 30 minutes ago due to smoke and fire.
Okay, copy.
1622. Edward 6, I'm not sure if you're able to take via Appia to South Boulder East or Cherry to the south of you to the east. Should also get you out of town.
All right, I'll give Viapi a try. I got about 20 cars behind me.
1623.
658, both West Cherry and Via Appia are pretty easy to get through.
Copy.
Copy.
Edward 7 Boulder County arrival.
1623.
Edward 32.
Edward 32.
I'm clear sunset now with the others on Sunnyside.
1623.
In service, good morning.
1624, break, Edward 6.
Go ahead, I'm by the rec center.
I just got a call reference to Flatiron Health and Rehab. Is anybody still left there?
To the homes that we've been watching out here.
Advised me there was a couple staff and there was
Near
fire
us
on the west side of the building there.
Evacuated from that subdivision.
2622
I'll let you know there might be one or two.
1107 Century Drive. 1107 Century Drive. Those patients are all in health and rehab. They have one patient of 25 that can be transported by ambulance.
They said up to an hour and a half just to leave that subdivision because everyone was trying to get out of there at the same time. Again, we're just going to keep monitoring this.
Copy. Any units from the Sunnyside, not domestic, you can
and
disregard.
hoping that those flames don't move closer to the houses that we've been watching and talking to folks who live in this neighborhood. Heart-wrenching.
2622 and 2602, you're not to 1107 Century Drive. 1107 Century Drive. They have one patient there that they need an ambulance for to transport.
Connect. Service break.
2602, okay.
I got Lincoln 90 in service, and then I think I stepped in.
1625.
Lincoln 90, I'm in service headed to 96 Bendilla and to assist the units there.
Copy, thank you. And was there another unit? Nothing heard.
2216, respond to 1307 Franklin Avenue. 1307 Franklin Avenue for a party that needs to be evacuated that is paraplegic. 1625.
Okay, service break.
Good.
I'll be out with the code 1 on
1800 3121 arrival at the west center of Flatiron Mall.
Go ahead.
1625.
ID Union Queen 626. I'll try to get off the road.
Are you by Emma?
Paper, I'm just now in traffic.
1626.
Commercial fire alarm at 920 St. Andrews Lane. 920 St. Andrews Lane. Commercial fire alarm aired 1626.
Lincoln 14.
It's off the roadway out of traffic. I'll be en route, so relieve Lincoln 40.
1627.
Go ahead for 2216.
Did you copy the tones for 1307 Franklin Avenue? 1307 Franklin Avenue?
Paper and play.
Copy, showing you en route. 1627.
797.
797.
Can you clear off the MCOM at 7440 Marshall Drive?
Affirm, when I find it.
Marshall Command.
Edward 7.
Edward 7.
1800 from 2216. No crime on Sunnyside, and she's refusing to go with us. She said call again if she feels unsafe. We're all available again.
1629.
16, I can't copy. You're not loud enough.
$1,800, 2216. How do you copy?
Louder now, thank you.
16 copies. You're going to need to send that call at 1307 Franklin Ave to Marshall. Command to dispatch.
Copy, showing you clear.
$2216 copies, thanks.
Marshall Command.
Command, go ahead.
Structure fire at 2011 Emerson Lane. 2011 Emerson Lane.
Type of fire again?
And Marshall Command, if you have somebody that can respond to 1307 Franklin Avenue, 1307 Franklin Avenue, I have a male party there with his paraplegic son that they can't evacuate.
2011 Emerson Lane, fire, 1307 Franklin Lane. Needs help with paraplegic or something.
That's affirmative. They need an evacuation at the Franklin Avenue one.
Copy, evacuation. I'll be passed on. Thank you, sir.
1631.
797.
797.
County units water flow alarm at 2 Marshall Road. 2 Marshall Road.
Call I'm working.
1631.
I will give it a shot.
Appears to be fire inside of the subdivision. So we're going to be checking on those situations in just a few minutes.
We want to get to Angeline McCall, who is in Superior, an area that they've seen these evacuations for a few hours, and large facilities and malls and everything else being evacuated. And you've seen the fire, and I can see fire right behind your shoulder, your right shoulder.
Yeah, you know, we've driven all around this area and you can find fire anywhere, but this is growing very quickly. This was not on fire right there, that big patch, that was not on fire just about 30 seconds ago.
Marshall Command.
Further back, you can't see the homes.
Yes. Can we send like an AMR unit to 1307 Franklin Avenue? Could you do that for us, please?
That fence is also on fire.
I'm sorry, can I do what?
In Superior, not far from the mall, and it is absolutely heartbreaking. This is home after home after home, and I can say, after being out here for several hours now, this is actually the worst wind that we've experienced in this specific area. I'm not sure what it is about it, but it's just blowing right
Show me the
through,
birdie
and it's really
Empire
picking this up.
287th is the units there. There's a
2621 on the 1307 Franklin Avenue. 1307 Franklin Avenue. They have a
time to go.
father there with his paraplegic son, and they are unable to evacuate at the time.
We'll check back with you from a safe place in a few minutes.
That's seconds. That was seconds that we saw that fire.
So fast. Kyle Clark has been watching this happen over at Davidson Mason.
Copy. Confirmation that northbound McCaslin from Biappy is still impassable. However,
5621 arrival,
Biappy and West Cherry should be good to go still at 1634.
1634. And Marshall Command, I handled 1307 Franklin Avenue.
Thank you. 1634.
Floor 16 information.
416.
From Maine to, it looks like McCaslin on South Boulder Road, the westbound lane is open for emergency traffic.
2723.
2723.
1635.
Shows transporting one patient, non-emergent, to Longmont United with one rider.
90, I'm out with Lincoln 59, and sorry, I accidentally cleared myself.
Copy, I'll put you back on it.
1635. $22.16.
We have seen emergency vehicles, a line of emergency vehicles and it's difficult to tell if they're going to where we are currently seeing the flames out here. But we're also noticing a change in the smoke color again. It has turned darker, it has turned blacker, and when we see that, we know that the fire is moving through some heavier fuels. And so that is something that we have noticed since we've been out here, particularly in the last half hour or so. And the winds, we have also noticed, Tom and Kim, just in the past few minutes, have gotten significantly stronger. Photojournalist Mike Grady is struggling to be on his feet right now and to keep the camera steady. And that is certainly not good news for the flames that we're seeing that are just being pushed closer to the subdivision that we are watching right now, just covered in smoke. This is just difficult to watch. And I'm looking at
in wind, really,
a couple of different pockets of fire behind me.
Yeah, you do. You have more. When you think about it, this has all been within the last 15 to 20 minutes where these gusts have really picked up and moved into Rock Creek, and we've also seen the change in Louisville.
Yeah, that's seen just to the right of what Mike was showing us just a second ago, panning a little right. You just see the flames animating as soon as any wind hits them. And, you know, there's that human nature, that defiance that you know, we'll will handle this, but there's also this feeling of inevitability with this wind unrelenting, continuing to drive the fires, and it just gets to you because you watch it and you watch it and you see it continue to make its way, and there's seemingly not much that can stop it, that can prevent this from continuing to spread and grow. And as soon as anything settles down, something else starts up. As soon as anything settles down, the wind picks it up and lifts it and gets it going again. And there we see some water being poured in that area. Again, the Rock Creek subdivision. Kyle has talked about this from up at Davidson Mesa. You see all of this property, all of this land, all of these homes, and they have value, but your real hope is that the evacuation orders were taken seriously, that people were able to effectively get out, because this has been a life-threatening situation for nearly 5 hours now, and it continues to be one, and may even be more of one now than it was at any point in the past 5 hours.
And you know, when those notices come out, I think sometimes we just like glance at our phone, you're busy, and you say, what, okay, what am I doing? But Noel talked about the traffic, so we're hoping that everyone heeded the warnings here. The people for many hours trying to get out of Rock Creek. You know, people are watching this across the country. We're hearing from colleagues that we used to work with. Tom Costello, former reporter here, NBC correspondent, said, I'm watching this. So many people feel an attachment to Colorado. He grew up here and said, I can't believe this. And, you know, he's covered many fires in California and across the country. And he said, when you think about it, the typical fire engine carries 500 to 700 gallons of water. That's for the fast attack. And then they'll hit the hydrants. And we know how many crews are out there and the resources, but they cannot fight the wind when they're shooting water into the wind.
Yeah, which way do you go? How far ahead of the fire do you lead it? What do you try to accomplish? And you mentioned those evacuation notices as we sadly continue to pierce through the smoke and see more and more flame. Again, this look over the top of the Rock Creek subdivision right there along US 36. But you just think about, you know, you get that evacuation notice. This one would have been different for many people, because as you looked into the sky from miles away, from tens of miles away, you would see this giant smoke plume, if not several of them, joining. And again, you know, as we watch the sun make its way back behind the Rockies, this will be our last daylight views of what is playing out today on, again, what might be one of the worst days in the history of Boulder County. And then the fire will continue, the fight will continue, the evening will come, the evening will go, and tomorrow morning the sun will rise, and we'll see what happened, or what is still happening on this day. One of those days that so many people will remember at the end of a year that's been so hard already, and now, as the year draws to a close, another haymaker, another very difficult blast for people who've already been through a lot this year, especially in Boulder.
Yes.
When you think of early this year,
and this whole year,
you know, from the shootings at the King Soopers early this year to now this, it's been a year of tests, and this test is going on right now, and it's asking a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. Just look at those little pockets, and now, unfortunately, it does look like, I don't know, when you see that black smoke, but it mostly is in the grass, but you can see how it's kind of dancing around, and the wind is picking up and moving it.
Well, that's what you worry about, is not that what you see, it's what you see in the future. As the wind continues to howl. I mean, we've been talking to Kyle and Angeline and Noel, and they've all had to stand up against the wind. And even over at the mall, where we talked to Nelson and Jaleesa over at the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, you've had to stand strong against the wind, and you see the wind, and it creates that inevitability of where the fire is almost less important than where it's going to be in a very short period of time. And trying to fight this many fires in these conditions, it just seems like it is a task too large in some areas anyway, and we'll be watching it play out. In about 20 minutes or less, we're expecting to get an update from the Boulder County Sheriff Joe Pelley, as well as Governor Jared Polis, to talk about what's happened and what is happening and what will be happening over these next few days. This firefight, certainly unlike anything that Boulder County has seen, specifically when you think of what December is supposed to look like in Boulder.
December. That's the thing. I mean,
It's
I know
nearly
Kyle brought
January.
up the Mountain Shadows fire, and I looked it up trying to remember how many homes were lost. There were 141 homes lost in the Mountain Shadows fire, and that was, I believe, in 2012. Again, it was in June, and we were battling 100-degree heat. This is December.
And it's still a matter of lives. We've talked about a few injuries being reported already, but the hope is, of course, that the people who were in the path of this fire, people who are fighting this fire, are able to stay healthy through this fire, to escape it and to fight it without anything happening. We did talk about a Vista Adventist Hospital in Louisville having to evacuate. Well, they did. They told us they've evacuated every single one of the patients there and the staff members. The patients transferred out of there to Longmont United and to St. Anthony's North, as well as some other local hospitals. And that included, when you think of how complicated that is, ICU patients and NICU patients also had to move as well. But again, everyone is out of there at a Vista Adventist in Louisville. There's a number set up for inquiries about loved ones and families. So hopefully, if you have a pen, we'll give this to you. This is the number you need if you want to find out about a patient you know that was at a Vista Adventist, or maybe someone you know who works there. The number is 303-661-1848. Again, 303-661-1848 if you need to get information about patients at a Vista Adventist and where they've moved.
We want to get to Angeline McCall, who was on the outskirts of the Rock Creek area in Superior. And you moved, I know, Angeline, because that fire started moving so quickly. Tell us where you are now, and we can see the flames right behind those homes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just photojournalist Tom Cole telling me to hold the mic closer because the wind is just so strong. So we have moved back from that grass, but the sad situation right now is that the first home in this neighborhood has now caught on fire, and very quickly you can see on that beige home how strong the fire is, and it is actually you can see that like orange light coming off of the home. And then to the right over here, you can see even more grass on fire. This is devastating. The wind is so strong and so vicious. These homes, they are so close together that it's just so heartbreaking to think about how fast this is going to move. You guys saw how quickly that grass fire moved. It really caught on fire within seconds, and then within 30 seconds, it was just
sadly, there's lots and lots of places that it's burned. From police reports that I've heard over the radio, the entire town of Superior probably went up in flames.
Because we've worked our way around here, first in Louisville, now we're over here. We've watched so many homes.
And the only reason I actually knew about this and heard about it before I seen it on the news is I have Broadcastify on my cell phone, which is the police radio scanners, so you can hear it. And I've got it set up that if anybody over 2,000 people, I think it is listening to one channel, that it'll notify me. And so when I noticed that I had 6,000 people listening to something going on in Boulder County, I definitely had to know what that was, because, you know, Boulder County is not but like 50, 60 miles away from me.
Half an hour of its existence, because it, the
idea of fighting the one thing I can tell you, there ain't none of us in Colorado, besides the mountains from the Continental Divide west, really gotten any kind of snow all winter long.
Triage. Where do you put your assets? How do you fight these fires when you don't know
Here in Greeley, we had a dusting,
to protect life?
I don't know, a couple months ago, something like that. But a dusting's it's not measurable snow, so it was just enough snow to make the dirt stick to the paint on the cars.
Directly east of that main fire that we were looking at.
And Angeline, also standing strong in the wind, that wind continues to drive these flames. It has driven many people also to these evacuation centers. One of them in Lafayette is the YMCA of Northern Colorado. Kelly Rinke's been there and has more well, your background tells the story, Kelly, but I'm sure there are people there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And within the last hour and a half or so that we've been here, we've been seeing this starting to fill up. People coming here with their belongings. They are packing with whatever they were able to grab at the time that they were at their house. Many of them are grateful that they were at home this afternoon. Many of them were working from home, so they were able to grab their things, grab their pets. However, I did talk to a woman earlier today who was telling me that she was at her house in Louisville. This was before the evacuation.
And one thing that concerns me here
place,
is pets,
and she started
because there's a lot of people out in that area that have horses.
Filling with smoke, and that really made her concerned. She packed up her dogs, but she wasn't able to find her cat. Her cat was really freaked out, and so she came here. She said she wasn't able to pack her things, unfortunately, and she was really distraught that she had to park here and watch this scene behind me as they're just waiting to get any updates about what their neighborhood is going to look like when they come back. That's the question many people have been asking us. They're asking us, do you know about this neighborhood? Do you know about this area? How is my home going to be? Is it still going to be there when I come back? Listening to Angeline's
And
live
any
shot,
other time they would have a helicopter looking at this stuff too, but with the winds blowing as much as they are and as fast as they are, there ain't no way they can get a helicopter up there.
Trying to keep warm. They've been coming into the evacuation centers. Something that me and my photographer Foster have noticed is 2 ambulances come pulling up, not with their sirens, but they're bringing people, some of our people in our vulnerable populations, on stretchers to bring them here to a safe place. People coming here for hot chocolate, for food, just a little bit of comfort as they really just kind of wait for any sort of updates, guys.
What do people find when they get there? What is the situation? If you arrive right there, you check in, do you put your name on a list, your phone number, and do you have a place to sit? What does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a process. A lot of people, what I've been noticing is they kind of just been sitting in their cars trying to see, am I just going to go to a family's place? But we've been noticing people going in. There have been people that have been greeting them, asking them what exactly they need. But there's been a lot of food, water, people coming here just to help out. So it's definitely a warm place for people to go. And it seems like people are starting to hear that this is a place for them to come. This is on 2800 Dangby Way. And so, definitely more and more families are finding out that this is a resource for them as they evacuate.
It's important you talk about that accounting for people. People need to know where you are and that you're okay and that you're somewhere. The accounting for people is going to be a big part of this puzzle afterwards as well.
Those vulnerable groups
that
you're really concerned about anyway, and then in the midst of the pandemic.
Kelly, thanks. We'll check back with you in just a little bit. Again, about 10 minutes away from an expected news conference from the Boulder County Sheriff and the Governor of Colorado to update us on the situation that has been playing out now for the better part of 5 hours in Boulder County from up north of the city.
Okay, for now I'm going to go back to the police radio.
Fires, some of them very large, and many homes have been watching completely.
When the governor comes on, we'll listen to what he has to say, even though I'm not real fond of him.
1800 Boulder Road. Boulder Road. We have a Type 1 staffed and available 2302 if needed.
2302, I'll send you to 3351 South Indiana as well.
Lincoln 14.
Copy that. Route 96 to Dillon, get some cows evacuated.
You're looking for some animal control assistance over there?
1552.
Negative. I'm just letting the units know at 96 and Dillon. I'm sending them up there.
Copy. Units 96 and Dillon at 1652.
We have a Type 1 staffed and available 2302 if needed.
2302, I'll send you to 3351 South Indiana as well.
1652.
22, 24, and 2204. Respond to 1450 Lincoln Avenue. 1450 Lincoln Avenue for a female who fell. 1652.
You're looking for some animal control assistance over there?
1552.
Negative. I'm just letting the units
That's a sad, sad sight. Sad sight.
Copy. Units 96 and Dillon at 1800 Fire Station 1. We're unable to fulfill that request for 4330.
We have a Type 1 staffed and available 2302 if needed.
Dispatch, 2204.
2204.
That's a sad.
We think about the medical call and show is marked at the Boulder Valley Church in South Boulder, affecting a rescue of 3 parties stuck in a field. Lincoln 90.
I just hope that those people get out of there safely.
Had a 3-car accident going northbound. At least one of the vehicles is going to be disabled. I'm not able to get to it. It's across 6 lanes of traffic.
Lincoln 90, I'm sorry, I need a specific location. Where are they at?
Highway 42 and Empire, northbound just north of there. 3 cars, and at least one of them is not going to be able to go.
Copy, Lincoln 65.
65 copy. We're almost there.
1654.
William 101 in service.
William 101, good morning.
Cherrydale. There are 3 parties.
William 101, good morning. Unit S7.
We can get that out of here. Fire approaching.
59 on arrival with accident.
1654. 1654. Lincoln 90, I'm sorry, I need a specific location. Where are they?
We're seeing fire crews going in and out of here right now. These homes have been evacuated. This hospital has been evacuated. The winds are blowing like crazy over here. And we just drove by, and there were still some wildfires that were burning right alongside the road, right up until the road. Fires that were continuing to expand. So this area is pretty active right now. We should probably stay here for a little bit, but get on out of here. It doesn't seem like the winds are letting up, and it's certainly creating a lot of havoc in this area. This is right next to Avista Hospital. The hospital is just over here to my left, and the neighborhood is right behind it. And that's where all the activity is right now.
Admiral driver room
evacuating a hospital.
No scene. Vehicle is smoking, confirming northbound.
This hospital has been evacuated. The winds are blowing like crazy over here. And
90, that's affirm.
Copy, northbound. 1655.
I get 6-1 in service. I'll be back to go for that vehicle.
1655.
Certainly creating a lot of havoc in this area. This is right next to Avista Hospital. The hospital
2722 is clear.
That's where all the activity is right now.
2722 clear.
Affirm.
Copy.
I'm not even certain how long I've had this live stream up right now. In a couple hours, I'm pretty certain of.
2722, go ahead.
I know the first
229 Springs Drive. 229 Springs Drive for a female that's non-ambulatory.
All kinds of audio issues and shut everything out. I had to restart it.
229 Springs Drive from Summit View and 95th.
1657. 2224.
1851. 1851.
We'll go to this for a second.
The maroon vehicle that was involved in the accident, 287 Empire, is currently in the Blue Credit Union parking lot. Heavy front end damage.
2242.
Go ahead.
2242.
You can update and get no ads and the archives and stuff like that. I don't really need none of that.
Correction, King 98.
It's only a 15 to 30 second ad to begin with.
Were you able to tell if it was
No
occupied?
big deal.
It is occupied.
Lincoln 59 and Lincoln 61.
229 Springs Drive. 229 Springs Drive.
Just confirming that Springs.
Both units match the Blue Credit Union 1657.
Lincoln 24.
Lincoln 24.
I'll respond. I'm closer than 61.
Lincoln 61, do you want to go to the accident? 1658.
It's the Springs Drive off of West Cherry. 42, are you en route there?
59 on arrival with that car.
Negative, we're up to spring. I just want to make sure that was enough where we're at.
1658.
Edward 32.
Edward 32.
A family member made it out here. We can cancel medical.
Sheriff Joe Pelley, Governor Polis is there as well. This is the latest from a 5 o'clock update.
And in the areas of Superior and Louisville who have been evacuated, we know that there are structures, both homes and businesses, that have been burned and lost. I'm speaking about hundreds of structures. We know that people are anxiously waiting for word about the conditions of their homes and their neighborhoods. I want to assure you that our fire personnel are working as hard as they can to save additional structures as we speak, and when it's safe to do so, we'll start the emotional and painful process of assessing damages. The two fires started late this morning. The first fire, called the Middle Fork Fire, was reported just before 10:30 near the intersection of North Foothills Highway and Middle Fork Road. That fire was attacked pretty quickly and laid down later in the day, and it's currently being monitored. There are no reports of structures lost for the Middle Fork Fire. The second fire, the Marshall Fire, was reported just after 11 o'clock a.m. at South Foothills and Marshall Road. Over the course of the day, this fire ballooned and spread rapidly east. It's currently reported to be at about 1,600 acres. It spread through Superior and parts of Louisville and unincorporated Boulder County. A Vista Hospital and many care facilities in the area have been evacuated. The Louisville Police Chief and City Manager, or Mayor, are here to provide more information. I'll talk to you in just a minute. At this point, we only have one reported injury, a minor injury to an officer's eye from wind-blown debris. It's too early to tell if we have any fire-related casualties. We have no fire-related casualties reported currently. However, I'd like to emphasize that due to the magnitude of this fire, the intensity of this fire, and its presence in such a heavily populated area, we would not be surprised if there are injuries or fatalities. The conditions around the Marshall Fire are still very volatile and unsafe. We'd encourage anyone in a mandatory evacuation zone who has not exited to do so. Others in nearby neighborhoods may be under pre-evacuation orders. We encourage all residents to stay alert for any orders from officials. We have evacuation centers open at several locations: the North Boulder Rec Center, the Longmont Senior Center, and the YMCA in Lafayette.
I don't know what's going on with the
YMCA in
video, but
Lafayette
that
is
was
taking
definitely on their
pets.
end, not my end.
For the latest map of the fire, please go to www.boco, for Boulder County, boco.org/OEM info map. Large animals are currently being evacuated to the Boulder County Fairgrounds, and there are hundreds of them there now. Evacuees who are COVID positive are asked to go to the COVID-19 Recovery Center at the Mount Calvary Lutheran Church, which is located on Stanford Court in Boulder. We are working with the American Red Cross to establish need them. The best information about these resources is available at our website, boulderoem.com. In addition, a community call center has been established. The call center is 303-413-7730. And if you have questions about the status of your home, evacuation routes, whether your street's open, that kind of thing, I would please encourage you to call 303-413-7730 rather than 911. Our 911 lines have been inundated all day. Evacuation routes have been heavily trafficked. National Guard's coming out, other law enforcement officials assisting motorists fleeing the area and keeping evacuation routes open. We want to thank the many agencies that are responding to this emergency with us. We will be sure to recognize them as the situation becomes more under control. We hope the strong winds will decrease through the evening and the night, but our forecasters are anticipating continued occasional gusts. Individuals should not attempt to return to their neighborhoods until they receive official word it's safe to do so. This may or may not be for several hours. In regards to structure and damage and that kind of thing, I have some initial estimates right now. Again, we're up to approximately 1,600 acres. We know that approximately 370 homes in the Sagamore subdivision, which is just west of Superior, have been lost. There's a potential of 210 homes lost in Old Town Superior. The Target shopping complex in Superior on fire. The Element Hotel engulfed. We had the one officer injured. Fortunately, no other reports of evacuation or damage. I want to thank the following agencies who jumped in to assist us today under extreme situation in really quick order, and that's the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, the Larimer County Sheriff's Office, the Golden Police Department, the Longmont Police Department, Louisville Police Department, Lafayette Police Department, our Sheriff's Office, the State of Colorado Division of Public Safety. Thank you, Director, for being here. The Governor's Office, Department of Homeland Security, the National Guard has been activated thanks to the Governor's Office, and we have more assistance and more help coming in regards to federal aid and federal assistance and state aid and state assistance. And Governor Polis will talk to you about that in a few minutes. So next, I'm going to introduce officials from the city of Louisville, the police chief, and let him introduce his mayor as well. They'll have a few words, and then the governor will speak.
Thank you. All this is on their end.
Good evening.
The lab, the thinking, the whatever this is.
Thanks that Joe Pelley provided. We've also got Chief Harold here from the Boulder Police Department, Chief Jeff Satter here, who's been with me this afternoon, and I know the Boulder Police Department's been working as well, so we appreciate it. My name is Dave Hayes. I'm the police chief in Louisville. It's Hayes. Today is filled with some stories of incredible loss and tragedy, but there are also many stories of the people of Louisville coming together to support and care for one another. Thank you to all the people of Louisville for the way you handled and responded to the fires today. I ask that in the months ahead you continue to find ways to assist each other in healing from what has happened today. I would also like to surround our surrounding law enforcement agencies, as the sheriff did, and fire agencies that came to support our efforts today. There's just several to mention specifically today because they're here. Longmont, City of Boulder, Lafayette, Erie, Broomfield Police Department, and the list goes on and on and on. And that's also on the fire side. Many of these folks are continuing to work. They'll be working through the night and through, I'm sure, the weeks ahead, so hard to prevent more damage from happening. The medical and treatment facilities in our city, both the Vista Hospital and Centennial Peaks Hospital, have taken great action in assuring the safety of their patients. There have been patients who have been evacuated to other facilities, and I would ask that if you need information about a patient, you contact the hospital directly. The Louisville Police and Fire Departments are currently operating our individual command post in the King Soopers parking lot at 1375 East South Boulder Road. There were some community rumors that the Louisville Police Department was evacuated because of a fire at the police department. This was not the case, but rather the police department was evacuated due to spot fires in the area. I was in the building this afternoon as we began to set up our emergency operations center, small one for the city of Louisville, and actually could see flames right outside the window where we've got some vegetation. The Louisville Police and Fire Departments will continue to serve our city tonight and throughout this tragedy. We also ask that the people of Louisville continue to act calmly and appropriately. If you are able to stay in a location outside of Louisville tonight, then we ask that you do so. The Louisville Police Department will continue to patrol the streets of Louisville and will not tolerate looting or other related activities. We ask that you stay tuned to city and police department communication outlets, as well as the county information that Joe mentioned, for updates and evacuations and fire efforts. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of those who have been affected by the fires today. The community of Louisville is resilient, and together we will forge through this together. Thank you. And with that said, I'm going to introduce Louisville City Mayor Ashley Stolzman. Excuse me.
Hi, I'm Ashley Stolzman, Louisville's mayor. I want to first take a moment to thank all of the first responders who have risked their lives today to try to get this emergency under control. It's been a great effort, and they're still working into the night. So thank you to all of the different police officers and firefighters and other first responders who have been helping our community. To community members, thank you very much for evacuating in an orderly and quick manner. Please stay evacuated. We want everybody to stay safe, and we're going to get through this together. We need everybody to stick together at the different shelter-in-place sites. So go to the YMCA in Lafayette. You can go to the Senior Center in Longmont, and just make sure that you're somewhere out of Louisville and safe. So thank you so much, and keep looking on the emergency website for updated information as the emergency is changing very rapidly.
The eyes of the nation of Colorado turn to Boulder County, where 1,600 at least acre fire has destroyed hundreds of homes. Just to put this in perspective, in the summer of 2020, Colorado had the 3 largest wildfires in the history of our state. Each one over 200,000 acres. That's a number. Those are huge numbers. But what's important to recognize is while there were some structures lost, those were largely BLM U.S. Forest Service land. This area, for those who don't know this area of Boulder County, is right in and around suburban subdevelopments, stores. It's like the neighborhood that you live in. It's like the neighborhood that any of us live in. And so 1,600 acres near a population center can be, and is, in this case, absolutely devastating. We declared a state of emergency earlier today. I just found out that we've been approved for Fire Management Assistance Grant, FMAG. That's federal assistance. We're going to, of course, be starting damage assessments for public assistance and individual assistance. Many people, of course, also have that alongside fire insurance. But there's no way to quantify in any financial way the price of a loss, of losing, the chair that was handed down to you from your grandmother, of losing your childhood yearbooks, of losing your photos, of losing your computer files, which hundreds of Colorado families have experienced today with no warning. Gusts of 100, 110 miles an hour can and have moved this fire down a football field in a matter of seconds. Very little time to get out, very little time to even get the most important parts of your life. And yes, it'll be a difficult process for Colorado families who are directly affected to rebuild.
I think your life is the most important.
I hope if you have friends in the affected areas, as we do in Superior and Louisville, in areas of Broomfield or Lafayette that may be under evacuation, contact them, see if they need anything. If you have spare beds in your home, they might very well need them. But it also shows how challenging it is with severe weather conditions. This kind of fire. Here in December, who would think we'd be facing a major grassland fire? We've been unable to fly state aircraft all day because of the wind conditions. We set up the Emergency Operations Center earlier in the day, providing help through the Federal Emergency Disaster Reclamation and then any additional resources that are needed from the Colorado National Guard. But this fire is not so much a question of resources. We have a profound sense of gratitude for the firefighters, police officers, and others, those working in the evacuation centers. But this fire is frankly a force of nature. We hope that the winds die down, that the weather changes. But for those who are directly affected, know that you don't stand alone. The people of Colorado stand with you.
Oh, the weather's changing.
For those who don't know if they have a home to return to, our prayers are with you for a safe return.
Sadly,
for those who've lost everything that they've had, know that we will be there for you to help rebuild your lives in the state of Colorado. With that, we'll take some questions.
Sheriff, how many people may be unaccounted for tonight?
We currently do not have any reports of missing persons, and we have no casualty reports. As I said, given the ferocity and the scope of this fire, it wouldn't surprise us.
Are firefighters able to get into these areas that have already burned?
Some of them, yes. and some of them no. It's going to be this is all dependent on what the wind does tonight, and that's going to determine everything in regard to our ability to, access points and that kind of thing. So we've actually had, deputy sheriffs and firefighters in areas that had to pull out because they just got overrun. So there was a lot of brave stuff going on today out there. So,
do you have any idea of how many people have been evacuated?
Tens of thousands.
Yeah.
A lot of people were really concerned about their homes. Can you repeat the number of homes in each of the 2 subdivisions and also repeat the information about the Target and the hotel that
Come on, Diane, can't you keep this freaking stream going?
So the Sagamore subdivision is just west, on the west side of Superior. It appears that all the homes there were lost. There's 370 homes there. Old Town Superior, we believe approximately 210 homes have been lost. Now, between Superior and Marshall, out there by El Dorado Springs, there are a number of homes and small subdivisions that lost homes. So we're potentially talking about over 500
sadly,
homes.
as I said in one of my comments earlier,
thousands
the entire
of people
town of Superior
in need and in crisis tonight.
For those who are trying to figure out where we are in battling this fire, we're still in the beginning, are we in the middle? I know we're not at the end.
The end won't come until the wind subsides. This is the kind of fire you can't fight head on, right? And when that single fire engine and police officer pull into us, all they can try to do is protect the next one. So, we hope the loss is over tonight. We hope these winds subside, and we hope that our brave firefighters are going to get a headway tonight and put a stop to it.
Sheriff, any idea what the cause of the fire was? And then also Mountain said you guys planned for this contingency at all?
The picture concerns me. Why is there fire here?
We have an Office of Disaster Management.
Here.
One of the best offices in the state of Colorado as far as counties go, and we're really well practiced at disasters, unfortunately.
Can't be from lights from electricity,
but yeah, we had
been shut off in
so
that area,
preliminarily
supposedly.
the reports were down power lines, and we had deputies in the area who confirmed there were down power lines. So we believe that assessment and the actual and for final, probably in the next couple. Yes, that's both fires.
Both fires?
How close are the flames physically to the Vista Hospital?
Chief Hayes, I don't know the answer to that question. Do you?
Within a block or two there.
Within a block or two, and I know the reason they were getting smoke in their facility and difficulty for patients to deal with that.
It's a pretty big parking lot. There's not much shrubbery in the parking lot, so I think it's the ventilation system than it is in the hospital.
Do you know how many patients you had there? And Governor or Stan, do you know if the wind's dying down, will the state planes be able to fly tonight potentially? Is there a chance for that? Are they on standby?
Hi there, my name is Stan Hilke, Director of Public Safety. We do have aircraft that can help fly, and they can fly at night to help map the fire and to look for other hotspots that may not be known to firefighters. And we're monitoring the weather minute by minute to see if that's a possibility, but we haven't been able to use any of our aircraft so far.
Are we expecting crews to be able to go into those burn spots in the coming days to not only just assess the damage, but see if there are people?
Yeah, so the damage assessment process will start as soon as possible. So Boulder County has a team with our assessor's office that have all the plats, all the properties. We have detectives and other county employees. The State Department of Fire Prevention and Control has a damage assessment team. They've already volunteered to be in touch with us to assist us starting tomorrow. The weather tomorrow looks much better. It looks like the wind's going to die down and potentially we're going to get some moisture. And when that happens, the game changes, right? So 80, 100 mile an hour winds and 40-foot flame lengths, none of us have a chance. But tomorrow, I think we'll have a chance, and tomorrow, I think all those processes will begin. Actually, how many houses do we have any losses of human life, animals, that kind of thing? We're going to try to figure all that out in the next few days.
How hard is this for your crew to have to show up to a scene, see these, be able to do much better?
So, our folks, the police officers, the deputy sheriffs, and the firefighters are essentially just running ahead of this today, trying to get people out of the way. That's all you can do. And I was listening to the radio, we had deputies pulling into subdivisions and peeling the stickers off the side of their car, and they had to bail. They couldn't stay. So, thankfully we have a sophisticated phone notification system for our community. Everbridge, we launched dozens and dozens and dozens of evacuation orders today. Our deputies, the Lewis came to help us. They were rushing ahead of those flames, trying to get people out of harm's way.
I would just add that because this is handled at the community level, some of the first responders themselves live in areas that are under evacuation orders as we speak. So without knowing the status of their own home, they are still on the front line, working all night as needed to help with evacuations and containing the fire. With so many homes under evacuation orders, it's really so many folks that are the backbone of the community that live in those homes. And our first responders might not know whether they have a home to return to, but they're still on the front lines doing everything they can to save others.
Governor, do you know how many National Guard members are out here and what their main role is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're not here yet. I ordered them today. Director Hilke helped me with that order. I ordered a dozen two-person units, and they're hopefully going to be here tonight to help with the night shift work of road closures and evacuations and that kind of thing.
Residents in Boulder, Lafayette, and other nearby towns are wondering if they're safe and what they should do. Do you have advice?
So my advice, and this is based on the trajectory of this fire, is if you are north of the current evacuation zones, you're in pretty good shape. We've been really concerned about the speed of the fire and, issuing those evacuation orders as fast as possible to the areas that we think are impacted. So if you're not on that evacuation map, I do believe you're probably safe, but you need to be alert and aware and stay in tune.
If you're in doubt, call the hotline 303-413-7730. You can also visit boulderoem.com for regular updates. Final question.
Sheriff, you've done a lot of fires before. Can you kind of talk about the speed of this one and the difference, and then maybe GPAs, since you were actually in the fire, can you describe kind of what it was like being in there while the fire was coming through and what it looked like?
Yeah, as the governor said, this was consuming football field lengths of land in seconds. And my deputies and animal control officers that were trying to get a hold of horses and that kind of thing said that they've never seen anything like it. And we've had a lot of fire, so this was a horrific event.
I think
we have been watching a press conference, the latest from Boulder County Sheriff Joe Pelley, as well as Colorado Governor Jared Polis, trying to update us on what has been more than 6.5 hours of